how did Harbaugh leave his meeting with the team, without a job offer?
I think that there was this assumption from his side of things that did not line up with what the Vikings were intending Wednesday to be. And it was a real job interview. It was the exact same format, the same schedule, the same people that he would meet with that they did on Tuesday for Giants defensive coordinator Patrick Graham. So, Harbaugh came in, according to sources I've talked to, the last 24 hours, his intention was, I'm going there to sign a contract. And that just was not the case. This was a real job interview where he had to sell the team on him being the best fit for the job. And the fact is, it just did not, both sides did not agree eye to eye on kind of what the entire thing was. And that's why he left Minnesota on Wednesday without an offer.
Courtney, when I hear communications behind the scenes getting screwed up that bad at that level, I start to think, how could that happen? And the obvious answer to me, or the first one that jumps to mind at least, is given all that's going on right now with Brian Flores, I would imagine, and if I ran an NFL team, I'd want to be very buttoned up in the process and not have an automatic job offer to someone without going through the process. Could that be an explanation? What could explain how their wires got crossed that bad?
Well, the whole thing came about because Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah, who's the new Vikings general manager, knew Jim Harbaugh from their time in Michigan, the time in San Francisco together, 2013-14. He was in research and development, and those were the last 2 years of Harbaugh as the coach of the 49ers. So that's how this whole thing came about real quick, because this was not a candidate for the Vikings before they named a general manager. They had 8 initial interviews, and Jim Harbaugh's name was still floating out there in the ether about, is he going back to the NFL? Does he want to? Is he comfortable with Michigan? Whatever. So last week, when this whole thing pops off on Saturday, you can draw some very obvious ties to why he's getting an interview in the first place. So he was under the assumption that because of his relationship with Adolfo-Mensah, and most times general managers, who they want as the head coach, or, the candidates for that usually end up being the favorites for the job, that he goes there and it's probably his. And I just don't think that the Vikings, everybody else saw it that way. This was not just a decision that the general manager was going to make. There were other ties in this, with Ziggy and Mark Wilf, the owners of the Minnesota Vikings, getting a big, having a big voice in being able to decide this thing. But I also think, there's stuff with, what was the buzzword around this team when Mike Zimmer and Rick Spielman were fired? It's that they wanted to change the culture and what was going on internally. There's still some unknowns here about why did Jim Harbaugh get fired from the 49ers after 4 seasons, 3 of which ended in the NFC Championship and 1 in a Super Bowl. There's some personality things. They wanted to make sure it was a good fit. That's why they brought him in under the intention that this is a real interview and you're going to have to interview for this job. And I just don't think that everything lined up to where they both saw it eye to eye and for what it was. It was a real job interview and not just, hey, Jim Harbaugh, come here and we're going to give you this job.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.